Howdy folks, Little John, and a little bit of a break in between. Episode 3 of the Beer Safari in the Big Four, and I'm starting today's run off with a little bit of a gusher. Anyhow, we've gone with Modus, and this is called Hazy. It's saying the Hazy series 01 Hazy Pale Ale. It just says Hazy Pale. 5% ABV, Galaxy, Mosaic, and Citra. Now, it says hazy. That is anything but hazy. That's very clear. Now, as with other brews in this this run, I'm not exactly sure how fresh this one was, and there's no stamping at all on here. I'm pretty sure I haven't had this one as long as the others, so we'll just give this a bit of a swirl and see if we can drag some haze up out of this. Right, we're getting a little bit of crud from the bottom of the can as we pour there. Right. I'm going to keep pouring this till we get it all in here, so if the magic of TV. We'll now finish the pour. Okay, with that all in there now, there's a little bit let's have a little bit stirred up from the bottom of the can. She's hazy now. Okay, it's a nice nose on that. Okay, there's some good fruit on that. Certainly given the feel, it is a bit fresher, and I do seem to recall this one did come in a later pack than some of the other beers I've been doing in this run. So I think this one is fresher, and it's certainly drinking and smelling fresher. Okay, the hops are a bit more subdued on that second mouthful, which is to be expected. There is some nice fruit there, little tropical notes. There is a touch of the passion fruit, a bit of lemon, orangey type effects, possibly a touch of melon underneath. You're sort of dragging a little bit out of each hop. It's a Galaxy, Mosaic, Citra. You're getting the passion fruit from the Galaxy. There's some nice, there's a running over that lemon and that sort of soury edge that you get with the Citra. And there's just that little bit of tropical through the middle, the Mosaic with the pineapple and the melony sort of effect. Not really picking up any of the malt. there's a little bit there as the hop sort of comes out of the mouth, but the hops are pretty much covering everything. So 5% definitely, yeah, certainly fits into the pale, with that pale ale, then into an IPA, and they're certainly not indicating they're going in that direction. For me, it's just tending a little bit too sour. And whether that's because it's not completely fresh, whether that's having an impact on that or not, I'm not, can't really say. There is plenty of taste there. I think, personally, there's too much Citra. It's an overpowering the other two. I find Citra to be quite, as I said, quite sour, and does have an unpleasant edge when it's overpowering everything else, and it certainly, for me, it's overpowering everything else. The passion fruit isn't noticeable like really big from the Galaxy. Those tropical notes of the Mosaic aren't really pushing. It's that sour, edgy note of the Citra which comes through first, and everything else you've got to sort of look for a little bit. But if you're a Citra fan, you're gonna really like that. Not a bad beer. It's got some flavour without being ridiculous. 5%, you could drink enough of them without knocking yourself around too much. So whether this is still available, I would imagine this is probably a short run. It's possibly done its day, but you might be able to still pick it up. If not, even if they ran onto a second version, this is certainly indicates enough to give it a whirl. But listen, anything Modus, I sort of certainly recommend having a go at. Once again, they're showing they've got their shit together. They're brewing good beer. They're getting the processes and the things right. It's just a case of where that flavour sits, whether it sits right where you want it to or not. So anyway, that's a successful beer. I'll finish this fella off and I'll come back and we'll look at another brew. Okay. Beer number 2, we're off to Bespoke. Now, this is going to be really interesting. This is a beer I absolutely love, and that's the Sprocket. It's in there, big and hoppy. It's a big IPA. Now, I've never had this out of the can. I've had it at the brewery a couple of times. Yeah, I don't get there very often, but I do. I get a Sprocket, and I love it. It's bloody fantastic. But the issue I have with this can, this comes back in that original pack. This has got a package date on here, and the best I can make it out is the 8th of the 12th, 19. Now, I'm thinking that can't be bloody right, but it says BB 09/12/20. So, now I did not buy this beer until March, late March, possibly even April. It was into the lockdown. So this beer at that point was 3 months old already. And I said again, I'm not going to name the place where I got it from, but that's pretty fucking piss poor. And that is the worst out of the lot that I've come across so far of those beers. It's still got the big ring pull. But I said, I'm still interested. I'm very interested to see how this holds up. I said, this isn't. I said, not a first time for me. I've had this probably 3 times at the brewery. Now I don't particularly exactly remember what it tastes like, but I know I bloody like it. So it's going to be interesting to see what nearly 9 months of age have done to it. Okay, the smell is reminiscent of what I remember, whilst not being as pungent and fresh. Yeah, it's 7%. Yeah, it doesn't say particularly that it's an IPA. Just says it's big and hoppy. So there's no mention at all really of the style. But at 7% with the hops, you've got to assume you're running into IPA territory. Now, the colour, she's a beautiful orange colour. Yeah. This is it's not a hazy, it's not a New England. It is for my reckoning and taste, it is certainly more the typical West Coast style, where it is more driven by more later boil hops than just dry. So I'm hoping it's held up all right. She's pulled a big edge. You've got good carb going on. Okay, it's still holding up. It's still holding up with a good whack of flavour. It's definitely not as big as I remember it. Now, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what the hops were in this. I know there's Fortnight. There might be Amarillo and Columbus. I'm not sure. I've got the sheet inside. I probably should go and get it, but I'm not going to. Yeah, Fortnight itself is a mix of 5 American typical workhorse American IPA sort of hops. They've never really indicated exactly what the mix is. I've used it myself in brews here at home and never liked it, but that was on its own. It wasn't with anything else. It works in this combination. Actually, I'm going to go grab the sheet just to check what the hops are. Okay, so I've got the sheet. It's the menu you get at Ben Spoke. It has the beers they've got. It gives you some detail, gives you a bit of a blur, but it goes through the hops. So it's saying Sprocket, it's a big and hoppy summer IPA with raw tropical fruit sniffs and tastes. But a hoppy summer IPA, so they're saying it's an IPA, but it's got a little bit more of a, is that a lighter, happier feel, being summery? I don't know. But the hops, Fortnight, Amarillo, Mosaic, not Columbus. What have I got the Columbus mixed up with? Oh, the cluster 12. Okay, yeah, all good. Anyway, 45 IBU, 7% alcohol. It says 7% on there. But it is. This is it's a beer that's got plenty of flavour without being stupidly hoppy. So 45 IBU, it doesn't muck about. It's not ridiculous. Well, it's, and I said, 9 months old, it's still got plenty of flavour. And why? Because there's hops in the boiler. This isn't a dry hop or a whirlpool hop driven beer. It's a bit more traditional. It's got hops there which hold up the flavour. Clearly, 9 months, it's still got good flavour. It's a bit of a shadow of its real self, but it's still drinking all right. Yeah, Burn Spoke do change their beers around a little bit. Now, I'm actually wondering, because this is an older menu. I didn't keep the menu last time. Go back. I'll try to remember to link it up. I'll put a link up to look up the Burn Spoke, the Cluster 12 incident, I think it's called. I'll link it up if I can. If I don't, go look for it. And then it tells the story. But anyway, as a result of that story unfolding, I didn't grab the beer menu and bring it home with me. So this is an old one, and I really do have a funny feeling that those hops had changed. That they had dropped the mosaic and changed it. Maybe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. If someone's got a current Burn Spoke menu, they can update it, stick it in the comments. This is a beer I've really wanted to try and copy. I've emailed Burn Spoke for some hints, and didn't get anything back, which I was a little bit disappointed about. So I haven't really had a crack at really making it myself. But this, for me, for what's getting around at the moment, I mean, this is one of my favourite beers kicking about. I can't get it very often. Wish I could. It doesn't, and as I mentioned with the crankshaft on the previous video, this doesn't rank as high as the crankshaft in popularity with the average drinker. But for a crafty, this is the sort of thing we're chasing. That's the sort of thing we're trying to make. Yeah, that is a bloody good beer. That's yummy. That's nice. If you can get the hold of this stuff in your local bottler, grab some. If you're ever in Canberra and get yourself to the brewery and can drink it fresh on tap, do so. This is a great beer. If you like crankshaft, this makes it look ordinary. Can't say anything more. Of all the beers so far in the beer safari, this is top dog for me. It's up there with the former tenant. Actually, yeah, for me, this is the top dog. This is the beer you can drink. It's just, it's beautiful. So give it a crack if you haven't. It's not easy to find. Definitely worth it if you can. But I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to sit back now and just enjoy the rest of this. And I'll see you on the next brew. Righto. Day 2 of beer safari number 3. On to beer number 3 and 4. Don't confuse the crap out of you yet. Anyway, starting today with well known J Juice from Hop Nation, New England IPA. Was known there for a long time as Jedi Juice. Apparently there was some sort of issue with the naming, so they just changed it to J Juice. Right. Now, I've had this before, and this is the last time I bloody had it. She poured with a whole bunch of stuff in there. Exactly what it is, I'm not sure, but it's in there. Alright, let's have a quick look at the blurb here. So hang on, 7.1% alcohol. It's a New England IPA. It's a can of 375 mils. Hazy, juicy with a citrusy hop aroma, finishing off with intense flavour and a great mouthfeel, featuring Rawaka, Nelson Sauvin, Citra and Mosaic hops. This is the beer you're looking for. Didn't actually know I was out looking for a beer, but at one point I was out looking for beer, and I found this one. I didn't mind it. I said, this is one of the beers that made its way into Littlejohns Australia Day collection earlier in the year, and there's some nice brews amongst those. Okay, this has got a best before of April 21. So, and I'm going to say it's probably, I would have hoped to have a 9-month best before on this, but I'm pretty sure this has not been sitting here for only a couple of weeks. So, April, May, June, July. Actually, no, it is possible that I did get this in July. Can't say for sure, but it is quite possible. Anyway, I don't know if it's going to show up there. There's a lot of, let's call it muck for want of a nicer word, floating around in it. Nice citrusy nose. It's a typical New England IPA, light orange, yellowish. It's about the muck. It's got a little bit of clarity, but it is hazy. It's a nice head. Okay, I'm going to say maybe it was made in April. That hop impact definitely isn't as big as I remember it. And as I said, the one I had back earlier in the year was reasonably fresh. It was probably only about 5 weeks old by memory. It was pretty young. So I think this one's probably copping a little bit of a knock around from a bit of age, but given that's April, May, June, July, August, that's actually probably close to 5 months old now. It's holding up pretty well. There's still nice hop flavours there, but as it's drinking right now, with that age, it feels more like a pale ale than a New England IPA, or as an IPA for that matter. The hops are now quite subdued, but still flavoursome. And in all honesty, if that was given to me and someone said, "There, have that," it's a nice IPA. Sorry, nice pale ale. I wouldn't doubt them, and I'd have no reason to be upset with that. So the combination, the hops are working, the flavours are nice. It's really whatever I'm picking up at the moment is really not warranting me raving on too much about them, because it's clearly not the intensity that it should have. But again, I think it indicates a beer that's had hops used in the right way to maintain its own flavour. Like I said, I'm not disappointed in any way. 7.1% pale ale. Drinking with that sort of flavour, and in all honesty, drinking with more flavour than probably, you know, most bloody pale ales you're going to pick up. There's not a massive chloride bite, not that saltiness that you get with a lot of New Englands, where they, you know, with breweries just drive the chloride so hard to try and drive the hop flavours. There's been some restraint on the minerals, which is nice, because quite often by this stage of New England you're really starting to get that saltiness sort of kicking in and taking over, but it's not happening. So once again, Hop Nation, they do good beers. There's a reason why I've included those in this big four. They deliver. They do good beer. They know what they're doing. So if you haven't tried the J Juice, do so. It's a fantastic beer. Really good, top notch. And as always, yeah, Hop Nation. Give anything Hop Nation. Give them a whirl. They hit the mark, you know, most of the time. They don't miss too often. Anyway, I'm going to finish this fella off, and I'll come back shortly, and we'll look at beer number 4, which is going to come from the only brewery that hasn't made the list so far today, and that will be Dayton. Righto, it's beer number, the one after the last one. Number 4 for today's episode. It's time we darken things up a little bit. We're going to Dayton Brewery, Violent Crumble, Honeycomb and Toffee Stout. I've been pretty keen to get into this one. It's been sitting here for a while. No, not super long anyway. Let's have a quick look at some blurb here. 7.5% ABV. It's a free 55ml can, so it's halfway between a big one and a little one. If we make up their mind what they wanted to do. Violent Crumble, Honeycomb and Toffee Stout. Dwayne Johnson is on top of the Empire State Building fighting a giant gorilla while eating a chocolate bar. A swarm of bees come flying out of the gorilla's mouth and bite his tongue, so he needs a beer to soothe the swelling. This is that beer. Well, I suppose if Dwayne Johnson's on top of the Empire State Building, the only beer he's got in his pocket is this one, then this is the beer he needs to soothe the swelling. Had he had a bottle of Budweiser, then Budweiser would have been the beer to soothe the swelling. Dayton, you got lucky. And mind you, I'd still like to see some proof that that was the beer that Dwayne Johnson in New York had in his pocket. I find it just a little bit hard to believe. But I'm not one to argue with a beer can. Never have, never will. Nothing but truth, sunshine and goodness on the label of a beer can. Let's pour this sucker up. As I said, I've been keen for this one. I've seen it on seen people doing reviews and talking about it. It's been sitting in my fridge. It's a nice little can. It's purple and yellow, and looks like it's got chunks of honeycomb on it. Now this one was packed on the 27th of May. So May, June, July, August, it's 3 and a little bit months old, which I think is a nice sort of age for a stout to be getting drunk at. Poured a nice thick dense foamy tan head. Smells nice. Let's trying to sort of work out what the smells are. Hard to pin down a particular nose. It's sweet and creamy, a bit chocolatey. It's like creamy chocolate. Don't know if I'm really getting any of the honeycomb. Sorry, I've got coffee beans sitting there airing, which I did the other day. One just cracked, just out of nowhere. It's a little bit weird. Anyway, so there's no more information on here. I haven't checked it out, so I don't know exactly where the honeycomb and toffee sort of thing comes from. The head's settling a little, so let's give it a little bit of a swirl. Okay, big heavy body, there's a sweetness. Okay. Now, I don't know if it's just me, whether I'm like just really picky, whether I evaluate the beer just a little bit too much, or do I take too long experiencing the beer, but I'm picking up a medicinal tone that I've been picking up in a few of these sort of flavoured stouts. Okay. Drink it straight down. That's not so evident. Now, okay, I'll just focus on this, what I'm getting here for a second before I go on to that. It's velvety smooth. It's lovely and creamy on the tongue. It's nice, just nice level of gas and carbonation. Just pours through the mouth really nice. It's not slick, and there's a good mouthfeel, but it's not heavy, and it's not sludgy. It's not oily. Now I'm not particularly picking up any of the honeycomb, any of the toffee. No, yeah. There is a hintish of that honeycomb chocolatey sort of combination. It's not very strong. Obviously, I mean, they've used honeycomb in the brew, just like using honey itself. It's sugar and it ferments out. It doesn't really leave any flavour, or very little. So there is a little bit there. Same with toffee. Toffee's just caramelised. It's just fucking sugar that's been caramelised to the point that it's gone fucking rock hard. You're taking every little bit of moisture out of it. So essentially, again, it just ferments out. Doesn't leave you anything. You might as well say it's a lager with sugar and sugar, because you put in two things that don't stay in the beer. Effectively contribute 2/3 of fuck all flavour. So, as much as it sounds really good, honeycomb and toffee, they don't stay in the beer. So what have they done? For me, what I'm getting is that they use lactose, probably some kind of flavouring, to get, well, they're probably using some chocolate malts. They probably are using honeycomb and toffee. Like I said, it's not really leaving the tiny little bit of flavour that's left over is doing very little. But they've clearly used a whack of lactose. Yeah. And there it is. So when you're drinking it, let it go. You're getting that medicinal, fake, and it's a flavour I really picked up really badly, and I've ragged on. The bloody the Snow Day cherry on top. What's that? I think it was Nomad. I think it's Nomad Brewing. I really bragged on that beer for that medicinal, fake cherry sort of a taste. And this has got the same thing. It's nowhere near as pronounced, and and it's on the back after you've let everything go through. You know, if you're just sitting there really not thinking about what you're doing, taking a little sip, and not looking at it, not really thinking about it. But there it is. It comes as a mouth. It's there. You can't avoid it. So, yeah. What initially hits you as interesting and nice soon becomes just lackluster, and it's just another fucking push at those weird flavours. In all honesty, they probably would have been better off not using lactose. Maybe let the honeycomb and the toffee be noticeable. I've done stouts with honey. Primary with honey, and the honey adds character. You don't necessarily notice it as honey, but it does add something. And I think in this case the same thing. Honeycomb and toffee would have added something, but you can't taste it because it's just lost in this fucking ridiculous sweetness of fake fucking, yeah, lactose. If you want to make a milk stout, make a milk stout. If you want to make a flavoured stout, make a flavoured stout. That is just, you know, Dayton, I said, they generally do good beers. And I've got to give them credit, the underlying beer is good. And I said, it's got nice mouth feel, and it's gassed nice, and it's got a nice head, and, you know, but they're just adding something that, for me, I just don't think they need to. And they're not the only ones. It seems a bit of a craze. It's all about, let's just make these crazy flavours. I'm sorry. It's fucking beer. It's not a milkshake. If you're going to make milkshakes, have them in a fucking milk bar. Make a honeycomb and toffee stout. Leave the lactose out. Let the honeycomb and the toffee play their part. You don't need that. You don't need to add the other stuff. It will work fine. Yeah. I can't recommend that. If you feel the need, yeah, go ahead. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to. My opinion's not going to stop people. And there's going to be people who enjoy those milk stout. And at times I enjoy an amount of milk stout as a style. It's not milk stout that I've got a problem with. It's not letting the ingredients do their thing. Milk stout's fine, because that's what you're telling it what it is. It's a milk stout. It's a stout that's sweetened with lactose. That's fine, because that's clear. That doesn't say it's a milk stout with some honeycomb and toffee. That would probably make it a little bit more wearable, but yeah, I'm going to finish it, but I'm certainly not going to go looking for a second one, that's for sure. But anyway, Beer Safari, pretty sure episode 3, the big 4, done. Without a doubt for me, the beer of the 4, Ben Spoke's Sprocket. The J Juice, yeah, I really wish that was fresher. The Sprocket wasn't fresh either. Those two, they're both really good beers. But that's me. You got any questions? You got any comments? Stick them down the bottom. Go for your life. As always, subscribers. Yeah, thanks. If you aren't subscribed, and you should be, you really should. If you're watching this, you're not subscribed, hit the button down there, become a subscriber. If you like what's going on, you like Little John's reviews or other things happening on the channel, hit the like button. If you're a Patreon, extra special thank you to you guys. Makes a lot of stuff I do possible. If you're interested in Patreon, seeing what it's about, hit the link down the bottom. Always room for more patrons. But that's me, Little John. I'm done. Gonna finish this sucker up and enjoy the end of what's been absolutely cracker of a day. So, till I see you again, cheers.